You all may know Ronald Reagan as the 40th President of the United States, but did you also know he was a B-list actor who was slinging his D around Hollywood? Hmm, did you know that? Well, let's talk about it. Ronald Reagan was born February 6, 1911, in Tampico, Illinois. He died June 5th, 2004. He was the 40th President of the United States. He served from 1981 to 1989. He had two wives, Jane Wyman and Nancy Davis. He also served two terms as governor of California. Ronald Reagan's father was John Reagan, aka Jack. Jack was a struggling alcoholic shoe salesman. Ronald's nickname was Dutch. The family moved around a lot due to Jack's drinking and inability to keep a job. They eventually settled in Dixon, Illinois. Ronald really enjoyed living there. He went on to go to Eureka College, where he played football and was active in drama society. His grades weren't spectacular. He had passing grades. After college, he was a sportscaster for two stations. In 1937, he did a screen test for Warner Brothers and was successful. He was 26 at the time. He ended up being in more than 50 films during his 27-year acting career. Some of the most notable movies were King's Row, which came out in 1942, and The Hasty Heart, which came out in 1950. He never became an A-list actor. He was more of a B-list actor. He did date A-list actresses such as Lana Turner, Ava Gardner, Doris Day, and Marilyn Monroe. Let me pause right here to mention how small Hollywood really is. I've talked about three male actors so far, and Marilyn has been linked to all three of these men, which are Marlon Brando, Earl Flynn, Clark Gable, and now Ronald Reagan. The girl was determined to be in the spotlight any way she could. Now let's get back to Ronnie. Ronald discovered he had a problem. He would fall in love with the leading lady in the films he was in. Things would end once filming wrapped up. He went through so many Warner Brothers starlets that he was compared to Earl Flynn's nasty ass. And we all know how Earl gets down. Speaking of Earl Flynn, do you recall that he was bi? Well, he also made advances towards Ronald Reagan. Earl loved to try to kiss Ronald on his mouth, allegedly. Ronald always turned him down, that we know of. Reagan had no qualms with seeing multiple women at the same time. However, he drew the line at seducing married women. Reagan was also known for being quite mean to women. Jacqueline Park, a former Warner Brothers actress, claimed Reagan always made her take the bus to and from his home. Y'all, that's some nasty work. You know his ass had the money for a taxi. Well, look what happened. Jacqueline became pregnant with Reagan's baby, but Ronald refused to have anything to do with her, and she ended up terminating the pregnancy. Reagan is a grimy, dusty. You hear me? He's smart enough to know how babies are made, then he wants to shuck his responsibilities. Mm. He had a fling with Lana Turner after Warner Brothers made him accompany her to a movie premiere. Lana allegedly said that Reagan liked to take his time in bed, unlike JFK, who was a 4-minute man. Child, that's some piping hot tea right there. 4 minutes. That's all you got. In 1940, Reagan married his co-star Jane Wyman. Allegedly, they were not faithful to each other during this marriage. Jane and Reagan had a daughter and adopted a son. Jane was allegedly messing around with Lou Aries. During World War II, Reagan was assigned to an Army film unit based in LA, where he spent the rest of the war making training films. He never even saw combat, but Warner Brothers portrayed him as a real soldier who went to war. It must be nice to have connections. hmm Reagan would tell stories about coming back from war, which were actually based on fictional episodes in movies. So he lied, basically. I'm not surprised. Not at all. He divorced Jane in 1948. Then he had a brief fling with Marilyn Monroe. He also fell for Doris Day and thought about marrying her, but married Nancy Davis instead in 1952. Now, Nancy was also an actress, but not a popular one. However, she did date Clark Gable and Robert Stack before settling for Ronald. In 1950, when Reagan was 39, he messed around with an 18-year-old actress named Piper Laurie. Can we say predator? Can we say predator? He took her V card. He asked Piper's mother for permission to date her first. Piper was thinking he was going to take her on a romantic date. Instead, this Dusty took her to his house and cooked burgers. Burgers. Woo, child. Piper claimed Reagan was an insensitive show off in bed. He bragged about lasting 40 minutes and how much the condom cost. Just dusty, full of dust. She didn't enjoy it, but did say Reagan was a good kisser. I mean, I guess. He's still a predator. Let's end things here. So, did you know these things about Ronald Reagan? Can you believe this person was the leader of the free world? Does this change your opinion of him? Comment below and follow for more. Thanks for watching.